Hey, welcome back to the Paul Nichols podcast show. This is episode number 16. Thanks for tuning in. Wherever it is you're watching from or listening from, could be our podcast platform, could be our YouTube channel or some of our other video platforms. So let's crack into today's episode. So this is episode number 16. 3 habits that have had a huge positive impact on my business. So there's 3 different things we're going to go through in today's episode, and these are very, very important. These have had a massive positive impact on my business over the years. These may sound simple, but let me tell you, these have been crucial for a lot of the success, I would say, over the years that I've achieved on the internet. A lot of the money I've made, a lot of the sales I've made, a lot of the progress I've made in my business. These 3 things have made a massive difference. So number 1 is consistency. Consistency is possibly quite a simple thing on the surface. You may think, well, Paul, that sounds quite basic and quite simple. And yes, I've heard it before. Just, yes, I've got to be consistent and I've got to, but you really do have to be consistent. I'm not saying you have to be consistently good either. So I'm not saying you have to make sure that you're good at something in order to be consistent and in order to make progress. You can be bad at something and just be consistent at being bad. But what will happen is the more you do it, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're building a website, building a YouTube channel, building a blog, some kind of an online store, whatever it is, membership site, as long as you're consistent, you're going to make progress because you're going to learn while you're improving at whatever it is that you're working on. So just be consistent. Turn up every day. Keep grinding away. And this has been something that has proved to be a lot more important to me than I actually thought it was going to be many, many years ago. When I come to the internet back in 2007, because I wanted to build a bit of an online business back then, many, many years ago, I didn't really think consistency was that important. I used to think that I could just maybe turn up, do a few hours work, and then maybe, do a little bit more, maybe a couple of days later. And you can get by once you already have a business in place and once you've already got things in place where you're making sales from and you're generating like profits. Yeah, you can pick and choose your hours a little bit more. But at the start, and especially as you grow, you have to be consistent. As I say, once you start to achieve the results that you want to achieve in your online business, then you can maybe be less consistent. It's entirely up to you. But in order to get where you want to get to, you have to be consistent. Just show up. Be there every day. Do stuff. Write articles. Create content. Make videos. Tweak your blog. Make training. Make content for your membership site. Videos for your YouTube channel. A post on your social media. Whatever it is. Turn up every single day and do something in your business in order to move the needle forwards. The thing about this internet stuff is quite often very difficult to see the needle move in your business because there's no indication that what you're doing is actually making an impact on your business. So you may turn up every single day and be consistent and you might not feel like your business is moving forwards, but that is when you just have to put faith into what you do and you just have to keep doing it. It's no good you doing it for like 3 or 4 days. I'm talking weeks, I'm talking months, possibly even years. Be consistent. And as I said at the start of the episode, even if you're not doing it 100% the right way to get the best possible results doing the thing that you're doing, by being consistent, you will still be able to make improvements and you will still make progress, even if you're doing things the wrong way, because you will by just being consistent, you will figure it out and figure things out how to do things the right way eventually. So consistency is very, very hard to beat. The person that turns up every day, grinds away, works every single day, and just turns up and tries and is consistent, that is very, very hard to beat. So consistency, very, very important. Please don't take this as, well, okay, I've got to be consistent. Yeah, I'll try and turn up every day. This is so much more important than it sounds. So yeah, take my word for it. This is something that's helped me over the years. Whenever I've looked at my business and I've not been in the position or at the place I want to be at, I look at consistency. I think, okay, how consistent have I been over the last 6 months doing this thing? And more times or more often than not, I've not been that consistent. So for the next 6 to 12 months, be consistent, whatever it is you're doing. Could be lots of different things that you could be working on in your business. If it's just one thing, just hammer that one thing every single day. Whatever it is, be consistent, turn up, grind away, and just keep pushing forward. And that alone will really help you to drive your business forward. This has definitely helped me, as I said. So moving on. So number 1, consistency. Number 2, and again, this may sound really basic, but I'll tell you what, this is something that I have only really taken seriously myself in the last, I would say, 6 to 7 years, is going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day. One thing that I did used to do many years ago is I used to go to sleep and wake up at different times. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm some sleep expert, because I'm not. I'm just going to share with you what has worked for me and what's had a massive positive impact on my business. Ever since I started to go to bed, I would say not necessarily go to bed, but actually go to sleep. So I'm going to share with you what time I go to sleep right now and what time I wake up. This might change in the future. I've figured out that I only need between 6.5 and 8 hours sleep every single night. Even if I've had a very physical day and I'm exhausted and I'm really, really tired. So between 6.5 and 8 hours per night. That is my optimum amount of sleep. Now, I don't track my sleep. I don't currently use any of these fancy apps, nothing like that. I sleep extremely well. And one of the things that has worked for me, as I said, is going to sleep at the same time every single night. I currently go to sleep at midnight. That is when I try to fall asleep, at around between 12 and 12:30. I then wake up at around 7 a.m. So give or take, 30 minutes. Sometimes I fall asleep at 12, sometimes 12:30. But I wake up every single day at around 7 a.m. And this is what I've been doing for a long, long time now. And ever since I started to do this, I found that I've been so much more productive during the day. So there's definitely some correlation there between how much sleep that I get and also what time I go to sleep and what time I wake up versus how productive I feel, because I never used to feel like I have been over the last 5 to 7 years before that. And over the last 5 to 7 years, I've been trying to go to sleep at a much more predictable time, around 12 o'clock. Try this yourself. I'm not saying that this will absolutely 100% work for you or help you as much as has helped me, but try it yourself and see how you find it and see how you get on. Just do it for the next 6 to 12 months. Make sure you go to sleep at the same time. Now, there's a difference, obviously, between going to bed and going to sleep. It could be an hour. I sometimes go on my phone. I sometimes read things before I'm about to go to bed because that makes me tired. And then, and I often listen to podcasts and stuff before I go to sleep. And I know some people don't recommend that because you want to try and relax, but that works for me. That makes me tired. So then I go to sleep at around 12 o'clock to 12:30, and then I wake up at 7 a.m. So that gives me around 6.5 to 7 hours sleep. That is normally the optimum amount of sleep that I need. Even if I'm really, really exhausted and really tired, I wake up feeling absolutely great. So this is another thing that has worked really well for me. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time every day. Now, this is something that I do want to just throw in there, because I know that if sometimes we have late nights, you do certain things and you have late nights. Other times you may feel like you want to work later through the night. All I will say is do whatever you need to do. If you really can't sleep because you've got work that you want to do, or you want to stay up and do something else, that's fine. But just be aware on how unproductive you may feel the following day, because let me tell you, once you get into a routine of going to bed at a certain time, waking up at a certain time, as I said, this is just how this has worked for me. I have been super productive, a lot more productive. I've been a lot more alert, and I've had a lot more energy ever since I started to do this. Now, if you do suddenly go to bed 4 hours later, you will still more than likely wake up at the same time, because that's what your body clock is used to waking up at. You will still probably wake up at 7 a.m. So if I went to bed at 3 a.m, I would still probably wake up at 7 a.m, which means I've only had 4 hours sleep. So then it means the following day I feel absolutely terrible for most of the day, and I'm going to be unproductive, and this is going to have a massive effect on how productive I am in my business. So when you think about it, when you look at it, it's not always productive for you to actually stay up for an extra 3 or 4 hours, because all that will happen is the following day you're just going to be tired, and you're not going to be in the right frame of mind in order to be productive in your business, to work on the things at the optimum level that you need to be at to be working in and on your business. This is what I've found anyway, so just be aware of that. So go to sleep, waking up at the same time every single day. This has been a massive benefit to my business, because it's helped me to be a lot more focused during the day. So yeah, that's number 2. Go to sleep, wake up at the same time every single day. Try it for the next 6 to 12 months. Just try it for the next 2 to 3 weeks. See how you get on and go from there, because this has worked. This has had a massive impact on my business and just in my life in general. So that's a big one. Number 3, daily exercise. Daily exercise. You don't have to be a fitness fanatic in order to just do some exercise. You don't have to go out. I'm not saying do a 10-mile run every single day, but do some form of exercise every single day of the week. Even if it's just a walk somewhere. The reason why I say this, and especially if you're trying to build some type of an internet business, that means that you're going to be sat in front of your computer for long periods of time. In a chair, even if you've got a comfortable chair, it doesn't make any difference. You're still sat in front of your computer for hours and hours at a time. So one of the best things that you can do to balance things out is just go out and get some exercise, and just keep yourself nice and healthy, nice and fit, physically fit. Because although sat in front of your computer may not sound difficult, let me tell you the way it works. Sat in front of a computer screen is easy. You can sit here for hours and hours on end. But it's not just about the time that your bum is on your chair. The most important metric to focus on is how many hours you are productive for while you're sat in your chair working on your business. Because you need to be in the right mindset. You need to be in a frame of mind where you're doing things in your online business that are actually making a difference. So you're actually moving the needle forward. For instance, if you're not feeling very energetic, but you want to make a video or you want to write an article, you may not be able to do it anywhere near as easy if you're not in the correct frame of mind. Because you sometimes need to just feel a bit creative. You need to have all of the ideas flowing through your mind. And if you're not in the correct mindset when you work on these tasks, then that's not going to be a very good use of your time. You're not going to be productive in that couple of hours that you're sat at your computer trying to create content for your business. So if you go back to what we're talking about here is daily exercise, by going out and keeping yourself physically fit and healthy and make sure you get plenty of exercise, this will help your mental state. This will help you to be in a much better frame of mind on a more of a consistent basis. Now, I've always been into my fitness and my exercise, like daily exercise, and I like going for runs and going to the gym. But this really is something that's helped me over the years, because sometimes you're sat in front of your computer and you're trying to work on things and you're trying to write articles and create videos and it just doesn't click. You can't seem to get the ideas, and I know exactly what it's like. You probably know what I mean. Other days when you sit there, you've got all of these great ideas and you just feel like this is easy. You've got all of these great ideas coming to you and you can create this and do this and talk about this. I find I've experienced both, and I still do sometimes. I don't have many days when I sit down and don't have, good ideas. If I've had a late night, then, like I said to you earlier, that will affect how I feel the following day. If I've had a late night, if I've worked late, or if I've been out somewhere, I get a little bit of brain fog. So I try to be very disciplined with my sleep. And this will have a knock-on effect to the following day when you sit at your computer and try and be productive. Your daily exercise will help you to not only sleep better, because it has proven, as I say, I'm not a fitness guru, but this is something that's really helped me over the years, is to just get, some regular good exercise, and this will help you to sleep better. And then as a result, when you do sit down in front of your computer, in your chair, you will get ideas come to you much easier. And everything will just flow so much easier. So having enough sleep and going to sleep every day at the same time is slightly connected to the daily exercise. In fact, all three of these are kind of like interconnected. But the daily exercise is a big thing. It really is a big one, because it helps me to just clear my mind. If I ever feel like I've got a bit of brain fog, or I can't think, or I can't write an article, or there's something that I want to do in my business and I'm just not in the right frame of mind, I'm sure you know what I mean. Could be anything that you work on. It could even be you want to sit down on your computer and write some kind of a social media post, but you just can't think. Yeah, we all get that kind of brain fog, don't we? What I tend to do is go for a run, or I go for a walk. And even if it takes me 2 or 3 hours, what I find is when I go out into the fresh air and I get some exercise, it helps me, it helps all of the ideas start to flow again. Again, go and try this. This is something that's worked for me really well over the years. So when you sit in front of your computer and you try to write articles, make videos, and you try and do work in your business to try and like push the needle forwards, and it just doesn't seem to work, you just can't seem to get in the right frame of mind, go for a walk, go for a run, go to the gym, go and do something physical. I guarantee you it will help. It might not be the ultimate solution, because it could be a combination of a couple of things you need to do. But I guarantee you it will help, because this has definitely made a massive impact on my business. So, try it yourself. Try to be a lot more active. Go and do daily exercise, even if it is just like a 2 or 3 mile walk per day. It's a start, But my advice is you want to be keeping fit and keeping physically strong, because sat in front of your computer trying to build some type of an internet business, it may sound easy, like I said earlier, it may sound easy, but you have to be very strong up there. And if you're not physically strong and physically fit, that will have a massive impact on your mental frame of mind. And because of your mental frame of mind, you then won't be in the correct mindset in order to be productive in your business. Yeah? And this is, again, had a massive impact on my own business. So let's go through them. So number 1 is be consistent. Whether that's going to be consistently bad or consistently good, it doesn't really make any difference. You just have to be consistent, because repetitions is what you're after. Just constantly do things over and over again, and the more times you do something, the more you're going to learn. That's just a fact. You will get better at whatever it is you're working on in time with the more repetitions that you do. So number 2, go to sleep and wake up at the same time every single day. This is something that's worked for me massively. Try it yourself. I guarantee you it will make a bit of difference if you try, if you do this. If it doesn't make any difference, then you've not lost anything. Worst case scenario is it might not make as much difference to you as it has me, but you can at least be in a little bit more of a routine. So you can then plan things easier each day. So if you know you're going to go to bed at 12 o'clock and get up at 7 a.m. for instance, then you can then start to plan your day around that, as opposed to, well, tonight I might go to bed at 4 a.m. and get up at 12, at 11 a.m. or I might go to bed at 9 a.m. 9 p.m. and get up at 4 a.m. When you've got days like that, you're going to constantly be here, there and everywhere. So get into a little bit of a sleep routine and see how it works for you. It's worked massively for me. It's had a massive positive impact on my business. So yeah, try it yourself and see how you get on. Number 3, daily exercise. Just start to get active. Whether you might be going for workouts, you might be going for runs, whatever it is that you do, just get active. And again, this will have an impact on your business. So as a result, by doing all 3 of these things, this will help you in your internet business. And I know these may sound quite simple on the surface, but when you actually unpack them and when you start to analyze the reasons why these are so important, if you sort of go deep into them like we have in today's episode, they are very, very crucial. They are really important, because if you deprive yourself of sleep, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't work long days and work hard, but you do also have to balance that out versus how productive you're going to be. So, if you're doing like 18-hour days, but then when you're sat in front of your computer, you're just not productive and you just can't think, well, then doing 18-hour days is not really going to be productive, because it's not about how many hours you sit in front of your computer. It's about how many productive hours you're sat in front of your computer. If you can be productive for 18 hours a day by only getting 6 hours sleep, then that's great. And if you feel fine, then good luck to you. But you have to gauge it on how you feel. And if at the moment you're not feeling great and you just don't feel very productive when you come to your computer, maybe you just feel lethargic, maybe you just sometimes don't know which direction to go in. Whatever the case, try some of these and see how you get on. As I said, this has made a massive impact on my business, being consistent, going to sleep, waking up at the same time every single day, and daily exercise. So try these. This is definitely something that is that it's definitely worth a try. This has helped me in the past, and I use these 3 even today. Every single day I make sure that I focus on these 3 things, and it really has moved the needle in my business. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you do want some more free training from me, then I've put together a 7-day bootcamp. If you want to go and grab it, just go to coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. That's coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. You can go and grab a 7-day bootcamp free training from me. This will help you to start to set up your own internet-based business in the next 30 days. So that's completely free. It's just a gift from me to you. So go and grab that whenever you like. It's there. So that's it from me. See you in the next episode very soon. Take care.